Was there a video? Thompson Achilles. Yeah, you're right. There's a bunch of reaction videos. What's up with reactions?
Because it was practice, there probably isn't a video of it.
Well, I bet you there is a video, but not for the public.
I got bones. I got bones. I got 206. I got 206. I got bones.
Oh, Klay. I still have your jersey. All right. You put sound effects there, right? Like when I do these like magical moves?
As long as you don't make the sound effects, I'll add the sound effects.
So, Achilles tendon. All right, what are we talking about? Right here. This is the Achilles, right here. Now, what is it made of? So you have your gastrocs, right? So we see the gastrocs up here, okay? And, okay, let's just leave it there. Okay, so you have your gastroc, you have your soleus underneath, and they all become a confluence of tendon called Achilles. So when you rupture your Achilles, then what happens? You're literally taking this.
Is this supposed to come off?
Yeah. There we go. Okay. So let's just pretend like this was easy. Okay. Gastroc soleus. Okay. We take it off. Simple, right? And there is your Achilles. So he ruptured the Achilles. Now, it's never a clean cut like this. It actually looks like spaghetti, like that, okay? It's like strands of spaghetti on either side. And it is often, it's not typically doesn't rupture right off the bone. You can see that the tendon is separated. There's your calcaneus. So, and this is just a model. Ruptured the Achilles tendon. This is critical for pushing down. So when you push off, these muscles are actually contracting to pull this Achilles up. So when they pull, they're pulling like this, and then at some point you can have eccentric loading. You've heard me talk about that before. That's when you're contracting and stretching at the same time, and there's a watershed area. And what that means is you get blood supply, some blood supply, and there's an area where it's all peritoneum and all fluid within the tendon supplying the nutrition as opposed to big, robust blood supply. It's good for tendon gliding, but bad for tendon health. Good for tendon gliding, bad for tendon health. Good for tendon. Okay, I'll shut up. So, Achilles rupture, and then what you have to do is once it's ruptured, you can either treat it in a cast, so you flex this leg to bring this closer, and then you cast him in flexion. So plantar flexion to cast him. But what happens there? High risk of re-rupture with a cast or non-operative repair, okay? And perfect. So you can cast it or you can repair it. With repairing it, you're basically making a curvilinear incision, avoiding the neurovascular bundle, and you see the neurovascular bundle isn't too far, but there's a lot of space, and people like me, experts, surgeons, we know what we're doing. It's what we do. Repairing the Achilles tendon, you basically weave some sutures back and forth, you bring it together, cinch it up, and once it's repaired, it's solid, okay? But that doesn't mean that that's enough. The tendon has to heal. So that means early rehabilitation, motion, strengthening. So yeah, he's out for the season, which basically means next year, if he's lucky. Now, Achilles which was actually followed by an ACL, he's got a lot to catch up on. I'm worried. I am worried, you know? So, but if you cast it, increased risk of re-rupture. Now, there's different ways of repairing it. You can open it up, repair it. You can do a mini incision. You can also do some percutaneous incision techniques, different devices out there, and you repair it. I typically do a mini open because you can actually bring the peritoneum to protect the tendon after you repair it. Everyone has preferences because, hey, we're surgeons. We have opinions, and you're going to get a lot of opinions. But this is my opinion. Once he's healed, within 4 to 6 weeks, once it's recovered and repaired, then you start letting him do some weight bearing, increase the weight bearing, increase the strengthening, and then get back into sports around 3 months. Now, that means practicing, but not gameplay. Gameplay closer to 6 months. So, but the earliest accelerated rehab program would have him, fully weight bearing by 8 to 12 weeks and strengthening definitely before 12 weeks. But it's a process. They've got experts. Do you add some regenerative technology like that? Do you add some other medications like that? So there's all sorts of alternative and supplemental augments to this repair surgically that can help healing. A lot of us regular Joes, we're not going to be able to afford all that because a lot of it the insurance company won't cover. But if you're paying cash, you'll get it done. You'll get the PRP, you'll get the off-label bone and tendon agonists to help with the repair. You'll do the regenerative technology, which insurance companies aren't going to cover, and the indications are off-label. So we're not going to go into that, but there's a lot that we don't get. A senator might get better health care than we do. But wouldn't it be great if all vets had the same health care that senators, and maybe senators would change the healthcare practitioner laws and actually give the vets who deserve it better health care? Don't you think? So in the end, Klay Thompson, Achilles injury, it hurts. It hurt him. I know it hurts you. He'll be back hopefully next season. But this is a successive of injuries. So I would sort of evaluate his overall rehab progress and plan and sort of take into account his overall kinematic balance. So if no one's done a proper augmented gait analytic kinematic assessment of him because he's had multiple injuries, someone's not doing their job. I'm sure they are, but it's his overall movement kinematics that matter. I know you don't want to hear this. Well, maybe you do. Klay's going to be back. And he'll be okay. We'll see where he ends up. But the Warriors, they're getting old. They're aging. I'm worried about the Warriors, so we'll see what happens next season. Just, I'll hold my breath.
I got bones.